We'll call the Buildings and Ground Committee meeting to order. Take it away.
All right. Here we are. Can't believe it's the end of March already. Going into April. We're going to start off tonight with the Palms Auditorium follow-up from KCBA. Jim and Caitlin are here from KCBA. And I know there's a few questions after the last meeting, so we'll ask away.
Good evening. Happy to be back. We have a handout with some information. Just to give you guys an update on the middle school project, the auditorium project. We are in construction documents right now, which is the phase where we put together technical drawings in preparation to go out to bid. We are coming up on our 50% deadline for CD, so we're halfway through that phase. And we have about 4 more weeks before we're ready to go out to bid. We met with our consultants yesterday. That's our theatrical consultant and our mechanical and electrical engineers. And they had prepared drawings to date. We reviewed all those and we're coordinating a lot of the technical items in the design of the auditorium. But tonight, really wanted to go over just some options or budget issues with this group. Last time when we talked, we presented what the budget was, and there were some questions. Hey, is there any wiggle room? Is there any way to adjust the costs? So we went back to our consultants and asked them those questions. And this is a summary that we provided to Alan a couple weeks ago with some things that we can adjust. There's the design of the auditorium is very much middle of the road. This is what's typically required for an auditorium. You can go a little more, you can go a little less, but we are really designing this to be in the middle. It's not the Cadillac and it's not the Yugo, it's somewhere in between. So the options on the list here, a lot of these are from our theatrical consultant, Peter, because that's the expensive systems, the rigging, the lighting, the sound system. So on the stage rigging, we have 4 motorized hoists on the stage, and those allow the lights to be dropped to the floor so that they can be adjusted on the floor, and then they're raised back up, rather than somebody being on a ladder and going up and adjusting them in the air. It's really a safety concern more than anything, not having somebody up on a ladder adjusting the lights. It's very convenient to have them come down to the floor. That is a luxury item. We could dead hang them, and then you would get on a ladder like you now, so can adjust the lights. So there's some cost savings that could be realized there if we got rid of the motorized hoist. There's a 5th motorized hoist, and that's for the lights that are in the main auditorium. They're going to be over the seats. We don't think it makes sense to not have that one motorized. So there's 5. We're saying you could eliminate 4 of those and still function well. The second item is to reduce the number of wireless microphones. There's a package of microphones that's included in the project. It's what Peter thinks is the right amount, but they are sort of in modules. So it's like a module of 8. We could reduce the number of mics, but that reduces your performance functionality. So, with all these, there's a cost benefit. You can have less, but you can't do as much. That's really applies to the microphones. The backstage control panel, the base bid, there is this backstage control panel so that somebody can operate the AV system remotely from the back of the stage. You don't necessarily have to have that. We could get rid of that device, and then everything would be controlled from the desk. So this is a performance issue. A lot of times the stage director likes to have that flexibility to control things from the back, from the stage, and not do everything from the front, but you can do a performance without it. Remove the projection scenery support. There's rigging to have scenery battens in the variety of different battens that are up there as part of the theatrical rigging. We could eliminate those. Again, it's functionality. Like, we have what we think is the right amount, we could have less. And then removing the portable console interface rack. Part of the package is there is a podium like this, but it's an electrified podium where if there's a they can plug in, they can wirelessly connect to the system. So they can connect the video and the sound system from the podium. It's a really nice feature when the principal or administrator is doing an assembly and somebody's speaking at the stage and wants to project on the screen, they can interface everything through the podium. That's not something you absolutely have to have. We could have the system where you control it from the control desk only and not have the podium. The theatrical lighting, I just put it on here. The base bid's a modest amount of lights. Peter did not think that it made any sense to reduce the number of lights that are planned. And he wants to make sure that the infrastructure is there so that if you have an outside vendor come in and wants to add lights, if you have a dramatic performance and you still want to come in and add some lights that maybe you don't have, special function lights, the capacity is on a system that you could add those on. So he didn't really think that there was much that could be eliminated from the lighting package. Then we have our mechanical consultant, Snyder Hoffman Associates. We asked them the same thing. The mechanical work and scope is pretty bare bones. There are 3 mechanical units up on the mezzanine. There's 2 for the auditorium and there's 1 for the stage. The scope is to replace those units. They are at the end of their useful life. We are retaining all of the ductwork and all the distribution. So there's not really much we can do with the mechanical system. The units need to be replaced. That's what the scope is. So I hope this list has some benefit, and certainly, you know, anything on this list we can remove from the project. We can identify as an alternate so that you can see the price and decide once you receive the bids if you want to have it or not. It's nice sometimes to see that cost flexibility. And you know, there's pros and cons to these. So there'll be a discussion when you open the bids. Is this worth $10,000 or is this not worth, you know, that kind of conversation?
So is that what we need to wait for the bids to come in that would be broken down into these things to know what the cost differentiation would be for each of these categories?
That's the best way to get a hard price on what it would be. You know, we can write the bid documents that way where there'll be base bid is everything. And then, okay, if we got rid of this, how much less? We got rid of this, how much less?
Yeah.
And then the board can pick any combination
Right.
you want. You could have it all.
Mhm.
You can say, I just like 2. Like, let's get rid of that. So that gives you the bet. You know what the price is, then you know what you're going to save. Or you might look at it and go, that's not worth it. You know, let's keep it in the job. So I guess what we would like to hear from you guys, not tonight, but at some point soon, is, you know, of this list, what do you want us to identify in the bid documents so that we're clear to the bidders how we want to adjust the scope? I know one of the items we talked about yesterday that Caitlin wrote this list a couple weeks ago. We talked to the consultant yesterday, and one of the systems that's included is remote viewing of what's happening in the auditorium. And what that means is there's a feed that can tap into the camera that's in the room in the auditorium and project that live to the music rooms. So if you use the music room as a green room, like you have a dramatic performance, these actors are getting ready in the green room, getting changed. They can see what's going on in the auditorium live for performance, and then they can queue up and come into the stage at the right time. It's a real nice convenience, but that's what it is. It's convenience. That whole system, the remote video system, could be an alternate. We can see what that costs. What I did tell them yesterday was they had a monitor that was in the lobby as well as in the music rooms. I said, we don't need a monitor in the lobby. I can understand there's some benefit if you have the monitor in music room to use that as a green room, but the audience waiting in the lobby doesn't need to see the live performance. If anything, the technology today, you can live stream through YouTube what's going on in that room and broadcast it however you want. That just seemed like overkill. So we did eliminate that in the scope yesterday. Really here to answer any questions you have about that and the project in general.
So how soon do you need to have the answer from us? You would like that tonight or?
No, we don't need it
No, we
tonight.
don't need
I
it
think
tonight.
within the next couple weeks. We have about 4 or 5 weeks to finish up the documentation to put it out the bid.
Right.
So to put out our bid documents, we want to have that on the bid form. This is what the alternate list is.
Decision before then.
That would be before this committee would meet again,
Yes.
unless you
So
want to have
we should.
the whole board weigh in.
Really?
We really need to decide now.
So I wanted to hear what everybody had to say first, but since everybody's looking at me a little bit, I mean, to me, this is a decision that can be made tonight. I don't see any reason to kick this can down the, down the road. And this is why we're a committee. We don't need to take this to the full board to discuss this. My opinion is that more information is better. So you're creating the bids. To me, we should have as many options as possible and see those numbers. And then we can make decisions at that time. But I'm just one
So
person.
just include all 5 of these categories or whatever it is. 1,
Yeah,
2,
with
3,
the
4, 5.
doing it both
Include
ways.
all-
Yeah.
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 Include all categories.
Absolutely. It's no problem. We can structure it that way.
And quite frankly, so something like also when it comes to the seating, I'm just picking something because that's something that's easy for me to know, right? And I think we talked about this a little bit at the last meeting, that apparently there wasn't much of a difference in pricing or something when it comes to seats. But like, how do we know what we are putting in the RFP, or are you putting in that we want options? How, like, once again, I'm picking
Right.
that only because it's something that's easy for me to understand. My follow-up question is going to be, what about any other items? But we'll start with the seats.
Sure. Receipts is a good one to talk about. Certainly there's good, better, best. I'd say we're better. We're not expecting the cheapest seat available for, reasons we want these to last a long time for the school district. Our middle of the road is we want an upholstered seat. We had Irwin Seating do a technical drawing of the layout of all the seats, and we would specify multiple manufacturers. So because this is a public bid project, all the products are spec'd that way. We establish a performance standard, and we say we will accept these products from these manufacturers. So there'll be the Irwin seat, and there'll be 2 other manufacturers and their seats listed that we feel are equals. Price point, they're in the same range. And that really drives competition between the vendors. So that if we just say we just want the Irwin seat, that's the one we want. Well, Irwin's going to give
Everybody.
not the most competitive price. We always want to have multiple vendors specified so they compete on bid day to give you a competitive price. We could have an alternate for a much cheaper seat, but there's pros and cons to that. Certainly, we could add an alternate for the seats like that if you guys think that's a good idea. My professional opinion is the seats isn't really what you want to go lesser. The kids really abuse the seats, and you want a very durable seat specified.
Just
Well,
a quick question on the seating. Are we looking at all the seats being the same width so that we get straight rows up and down? Or are you
No,
alternating?
yeah, they alternate, and because, you know, it's art, and that's why we go to the seating vendors. They're very good at laying these out, because they actually use three different seat sizes. They use a 19, a 20, and a 21. And they stagger them based on each arc length as you move back to the room is different length. So they change it so that the aisles always line up. They always want to stagger the seats so that most of the time you're looking between two people in front of you, not if they're lined up, you're looking right at the back of the head of the person in front of you. And the sight lines work best where the seats are staggered.
Mhm.
So when you see a good seating layout in an auditorium, the seats are kind of they're not lined up. They're all kind of mushed around, and that's on purpose. That's what the vendor really helps us with. They have a special program to lay those out and get the right amount of seats in the right space.
Any other just comments from the committee on the seats or other options? So I'll just throw out my own personal opinion then, and I don't want to drive you nuts. And obviously we hire you, your professional opinion, because you know a million times more than we do as consultants. However, I like to have options, and I like to know, especially when we're spending this kind of money and for something that's going to last for as long as we hope it's going to last, that we took the extra steps to make the most informed decision that we could, and that we didn't just say, oh, well, this is what the architect said, you know.
Right.
Well, why didn't you look at what, and once again, you could also go crazy, you know, but within reason, and I'm throwing that out to your judgment, you know, I think that it would be good that we have the option of what the difference is. And although the thought process is always going towards the cheaper seat, okay, it could go the opposite direction,
It could.
you know, because if you put it, I'll just speak for myself, you put it in front of me and all of a sudden the better seat is, I don't know, 2% more, you know, in an overall cost. But you sort of thought, well, you know what, we're trying to keep this, you know, this down. But the committee and the board might go, listen, for 2% more, these seats are going to feel better. They should last longer. They should whatever. This is not an area we want to skimp. We think it should, you know, we should spend that extra money. So like I said, I just want to be fair that it could go in both directions. So I don't, once again, not trying to look to make this overly cumbersome. I know you can't give us, you know, all the options that are out there, but I think as much as possible, when you're looking at an anticipated, you know, cost of about $4 million. And once again, this is not something we're going to be, it's going to last for 5 years. You know, like this is going to be for an awful long time. I just want to make sure that we're not rushing something, that we're looking at as many options as possible. And so that we can say to all of our stakeholders, like we put the effort into it and we also didn't just farm it out, you know, to this company to make these decisions for us. That's just my opinion. Just throwing it out there.
I'm sorry, Scott. So after all that, you would like to see as many options for even seating as well?
Well, just yes.
Okay.
I mean, in a nutshell, I mean,
Okay.
I think that having the options so that we can sit here and say, all right, listen, we, you know, cut and skimp whatever, or like I said, maybe it's, hey, we want to spend that extra money. We expect this thing to last, I don't know, 20 years, you know, more. And yeah, here, you know, and it's worthwhile to put that money into it. I would like to see, you know, more options as possible. And I would think that especially at the scope that this is going to be, that for putting it out for the RFP, that it's actually shouldn't be that incredible of a lift for the vendors to be able to do that, to give us the options, especially also with what I know is available now in AI for putting these cost quotes together, you know, per the plans. So, but once again, this is just my thoughts behind it. We have other committee members here, and if other people feel differently, please say so.
Big ticket items on there are the wall, what do you call it? The clouds,
The acoustic treatments.
sound treatments on the
Yeah.
walls, treatments on the ceilings,
Yeah.
treatments on the floors. I assume we're putting some sort of deadeners in.
Right. There's
Amount.
different acoustic treatments on the walls that are getting designed to give you the best acoustic performance in that room. It's not just wall covering, it's,
Yeah.
it's a whole system. There again are competitive vendors for that. But that's one that's really hard, like performance wise, it's designed to meet these performance criteria. You don't want to put up corkboard on the wall as a cheaper substitute. That's not, that,
Well, I guess,
so it's that's one that's difficult. The seats, it's easier. It's easy enough to say this seat, good seat, this seat, better seat. Even this seat, much better seat. That's much easier. But acoustics,
I guess
that's one you really don't, I don't recommend you tweak around with.
I guess the question or thoughts are, this is a middle school and the kids do a great job with what they have there now. Compared to what we have now, what we're proposing is pretty nice. Do we want to go to all that expense? I mean, that's a lot. I mean, the whole building, when it was put up 30 some years ago, was less than, I want to say less than 10,000. I don't know what it was, but $10 million.
Million,
10,000.
10,000. All right.
Yeah, we do that again.
Yeah.
So the scope of this, we haven't really talked about. And it's a little late to be doing that, so I'm just bringing it up now. That's it.
We definitely can write alternates like we listed here and some of those others and have some. We want to give you the tools to make the best informed decision. We would make an alternate that we think is leading you down a bad path, like something you're totally not going to be happy with. It has to stay within a range of, it's still functional and it's going to meet your needs. Cost of construction, I'm sure this building, if you look at the numbers, it's amazing what you only paid to build this building 30 years ago.
Oh,
Cost of construction now is $520 a square foot.
Mhm.
So this building is close to $100 million if you could replace it. That's the nature of what's happening.
That makes us feel better when you say that.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
But 2%.
Yeah.
all right. Well, any other things from the committee?
I'm just wondering I remember from the diagram, the lift that's in the front. Right now, if somebody's in a wheelchair, they have to go around. How big of
That one's mandatory.
that's mandatory.
Yeah.
Oh,
The ADA really says you should be able to count the stage from within the room.
In 91, it wasn't, but.
okay. Yeah, because I figured putting that lift in is probably
Sure. That's a $50,000.
yeah,
Item. Yes.
yeah.
I know. It's-
50,000 for the lift or walk around the corner or stroll around the corner. But if it's what?
Not an option.
Not an option.
Yes.
Warranties. What are the warranties on this? Do they vary from the good, better, best?
No, the warranty's not really gonna change on the seats. The exact warranty that manufacturers, I have to look that up. I don't know off the top of my head.
And do we sample any of the seats before we decide?
I
always go.
That actually did run through my head
Yeah.
too, believe
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Yes. Getting them from getting a seat from the vendor in a short amount of time is challenging. I think a better avenue would be all your other facilities directors at other neighboring school districts. What seat do you have? Can I come and sit in your auditorium? Like, this is one of those where now, you call the facilities guy at Central Bucks and say, hey, can you take me into 5-year auditoriums where you have different seats? We want to sit in them. And tell me which ones you have problems with, right? That seat and that from that vendor, they're terrible. We don't want that. That's way more helpful and useful to you guys at this point than getting a seat from the vendor.
Well,
Word of mouth from your fellow districts, I think, goes a long way in this regard.
that being said, we'll need enough time to be able to do that.
Yeah, but
we
I mean,
don't
if the
need
seat's
the
like
rest of
$5
the
difference or
vendors
something, and that's
the
what I'm
week
saying,
before they
you're
do.
looking 3 seats and one's $5 difference. And it's much more comfortable than the other one, then I would say, yeah, pay that extra $5, shouldn't it?
Right.
That's what I'm.
I kind of look at it when you go mattress shopping and you lay on the mattress. I kind of have to sleep in it all night. I don't know how comfortable this is after laying in for a minute, but
Yeah.
it's
And
hard
the
to
other
tell.
thing I had a question was, are we gonna run these options past our musical department to see, what they can do without?
That would be my idea. That's another reason for, more information is better. And I personally, yes, would want them involved to look at this.
Because
And
how much are we
get their
paying for
input.
lighting now? How much are we paying for sound? We're paying all this extra money.
Mhm.
And instead of just incorporating in what we're doing, and then we don't have to pay all that extra money. Every time there's a performance and you pay all that extra money, so.
That extra money's for the high school.
So
Is that right?
We plan, so we
Yeah.
receive the
They do
bids,
for the middle
and then
too?
Middle
there's
school doesn't have much lighting.
several days
Okay.
before the board would have to act. Because the board will have to act to award the contracts. And in that window of time, that's when we want to meet with you and talk about these alternates. And that's a good time to bring in your users. Now, they're probably going to tell you, yeah, we need all that. But, it's getting their input too. There might be one that they say, no, there's no way we can do without that. And these others, well, yeah, okay, we can make it work. So I think that's when you bring them in to help,
Mhm.
when you see the cost, make that choice between this one or that.
Absolutely. Any other questions from the audience? All right, committee? All right, I think we're good.
Okay, can I just repeat them what I understand?
Please do.
The committee recommends breaking the following alternates into separate bids. Stage rigging, wireless microphones, backstage control panel, projected scenery support, portable console, interface rack.
Options to see pricing for.
The committee would also like to see options in each of the alternate areas to determine where to allocate resources.
So we
My
basically.
focus is options, pricing with options with
Right.
pricing. So however,
Right, the ability to pull any or all of those according.
But those are the 5 that you want bid out separately.
Plus,
I don't know
That's
if bid
like
outs,
something else.
well, maybe that's the right terminology. I would just like them all as options or priced out. Like if it's an item where like,
Motorized, motorized units are 10,000 a piece. There's 4 of them. It's gonna be $40,000 to include it. Or you save 40,000 if you take it out.
right, or if there's a good, better, best, or in a
Right.
situation like the
Cost.
microphones, you said, well, you take out in sections of 4. Okay, well, what do they cost per 4? Then we can go to the music department and say, well, how many do you really need? And make sure and get that kind of input. But then we've got dollars and cents to go with it so that we can make those decisions. And my bringing up the seats, yes, that was the easy fruit, to pick that but so I would like that included as well as at your knowledgeable discretion, anything else that I'm not personally thinking of where you can say, all right, yeah, this is legitimate. There is a good, better, best, or a good and better, and in order to, make the pain in the butt at the, buildings and grounds committee meeting happy, let's put it in that we're asking the vendors to, to price that out separately, so.
The structure of the bid is not a problem. Basically, we're asking the contractor, give us a price for everything. and then break out these cost reductions.
Mhm.
That's not a problem for them. They're very used to it. We don't want to overwhelm them, but I don't think we're talking about. a list
And that's
of
my
overwhelm.
point is I'm not looking to like,
Yeah.
okay, what
No,
kind of
this is-
screws are you going to
This
use
is
within
normal.
reason? Yes.
So yes, we can definitely structure these that are listed here as alternates. We can do one for the seats, and the one that's not on here is that remote video system.
I had another thought. The control systems for the lighting and the sound, are they spec'd out to be upgradable? So that down the road, if something new comes along that they want, they can just add to it? Or are these, I'm gonna call them closed systems, they're as is, they are as they are? when
Well,
they're-
it's, okay, so I'm not this isn't my area of expertise, but it's a state-of-the-art system. And it's an all digital system. It has tons of features built into it. That's the modern systems that they are now. But one of the key things that you guys should understand is it's set up so your vendor can come in and plug into it. So a lot of times, day-to-day activities, you're using 20-30% of what that system can do. But when you have a dramatic performance, you're probably using almost all of it. And you might still want to bring in a vendor that they have special fly rating system, or they have this or that, sound amplification system that you guys don't have. The system allows you to plug in and run an auxiliary through that system to amplify what you already have the ability to do.
These sound systems that you're out there that you're looking at, I've set up for moving presentations. They literally come in with blank systems. They're movable. There's a program that the guys that do the music or sound setup specify it for that particular atmosphere. And it's all done. It's basically vanilla. Everything is electronic. Everything's software. If you talk about a difference, it's no longer hardware. It's all about the software and how the stuff is translated. So it's a different mindset with what we used to have 20 years ago. It's a much different world.
Yeah, they-
It isn't like Johnson Controls. where you
they,
always pick that
Now,
They program out.
Menace is not, we're not talking about that.
Now, scene 7, we want these 3 lights to come on with this sound effect, and they program it all into the console. So during performance, it's basically you hit that scene button and 20 presets adjust and it goes to that scene. There's not somebody back there moving, like, make this light brighter. Like, they work all that out beforehand and program it
I used
into
to be
the
up
board.
at the top.
I think what Director Hollowell was just concerned about is that we don't get a year or two down the road where it's not expandable, or if, we
Right.
can't go out and add,
Repair it.
and, another company, oh, well, it's proprietary, so we can't do that. I think that was the concern, which I assume you would not lead us down
We
that.
wouldn't- Yeah, right. Peter Shute, this is all he does is design theaters. He specs his equipment every day, and he's not a vendor. So he's not just giving you his stuff. This is what he thinks is the right equipment for the space. But it is, high-tech equipment. You're gonna be good for a while. 20 years from now, the way technology changes.
Well, and I was just gonna say, you
You
can
know.
only do the best with the
Right.
current
This is-
technology and
this is
trying to
where-
look a little bit in the future, but we all know that
Yeah.
could change. We're not gonna come back at you. Okay with that. All right. So are we good?
Jimmy,
Everything you need from us?
the
Sure.
committee recommends breaking the following alternates into separate bids with options: stage rigging, wireless microphones, backstage control panel, projected scenery support, portable console interface rack, remote video system, seating.
So, and the only other, I guess, the only other language I would say is, and any other items that, Right.
We will think hard about it and try to find some other stuff on the list.
okay,
I
thank
don't
you.
think there's a lot more fruit there, but we will look.
Fair enough. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Great.
you made a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
You don't understand that. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna do the demographic study next. So, the RFP was issued on Friday, February 6th, and the submission deadline was Friday, February 27th. 10 companies responded to the RFP. 7 of the 10 companies completed all requirements within the RFP. So we look through and make sure everything's there. 2 of the 7 were significantly lower than the other 5. Through a scoring process, KCBA emerged as the recommended service provider to complete an enrollment and building utilization study with a not to exceed cost of $16,250, with the cost of a 3-year update at $5,500.
So this was demographics. Building.
So this is the enrollment projection and building utilization study.
Was anything sent out just so that we could see what the different bids were or anything, or did I miss that?
I
Or-
can certainly share them with you if you'd like to see them.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Yeah, I'd like to see those.
Sorry. Can I have-
So if you want-
So KCBA is here. Where do they, I mean, are they using some of the state information?
They've used all information that's probably
Available.
available.
Okay. Live births,
Mhm,
zoning,
mhm.
buildings, okay, we're on it. Been through this 3 times now.
Mhm.
Things that are local.
Yeah.
No, state. We're-
So when you say building use.
Yeah, how much
Utilization, whatever.
space you have, how many
It's
students you
just
have in
square
those
feet.
spaces, mhm,
It's not- okay.
where your population is, all the.
Yeah, but it's will address program changes.
Mhm.
Okay. That's yours.
Sure.
Who's right next to you?
Okay.
Is that on?
Do you see them?
No. There's no one.
Yeah, there's something here on the screen,
Okay.
but it's just showing a picture of that.
Yeah, the eyes are gone, so. It's all right with me.
Let's see.
Okay. All right, so you're looking for a recommendation from the committee then?
Yeah.
Is there any questions from the committee on that, on the recommendation to go with KCBA?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Didn't hear anything? Anybody from the audience, any questions? Comments? All right, we all approve, we'll.
When-
bid to
if
KCBA.
This gets bidded out. What's the timeline
So this
to
is-
get back to us?
Yeah, so this is done. So
Yeah.
This is the service piece is done. So
Yeah.
I had, as a recommendation, move KCBA to the full board for consideration on the April 15th, 2026 board meeting and work with KCBA to develop a timeline completion so that we can share what that would look like. We did have, we're on target because we had projected recommendation at this board meeting, March 25th, and then project award at our regular board meeting on April 15th, and then final presentation is to be determined. So that will come
Okay.
after the award is awarded. That's a bad way of saying it, but then we'd work for a timeline from there.
Can you just explain to me the difference between your column 1 and column 3, I believe it is, where the numbers were showing the 7,750 and then that 16,250? Like what?
So there was so part of this was the enrollment portion, so doing an enrollment study over time, and the other one was the capacity. So it was to break down, this is an enrollment projection as well as a building utilization study. And in part of this, when we discussed it last, it was to break those pieces out separately. So those are broken out separately. And then column 3 is the not to exceed total number.
Okay. Okay, so there's another number in between column 1 and column 3 that also has a number, which is a different piece of it
Correct.
as well.
That's
Okay,
right.
okay.
Yep. Okay.
All right, informational.
Thank you very much. Okay, Tinicum water tank. Ran into some delays. The first delay was the delivery of the tank itself. Tinicum was supposed to be there on the 12th, and it didn't get there till the 16th, which was after the date I had set of the 13th, which were a day off. And then they had another, the company that's doing the installation had another project going on, so they couldn't do it last Saturday, the 21st. We are confirmed, everything's in place, we're to be done this Saturday, the 28th. So again, there was basically delays in the delivery, and then delays by the company for having other work scheduled. So,
Okay.
Treatment plant project is moving along. We're doing all the specs for approval. They actually took the covering off the pipe that runs over top of the creek, and checking it to make sure that it's re-insulated and a new heat trace is put in. I don't know, probably don't know this, but it runs actually where it comes down from the school and where it crosses the creek to the current treatment plant is actually above ground. So it's covered, insulated, and has a heat trace on it, so we don't freeze up like we probably could have last winter with the temperatures we had. So they're actually starting on any of the work that they can do. Twinning is starting on any of the work they can do without interrupting the plant itself till June 8th, or last day.
Yeah, with the snow days.
Yeah. Quite a winter. The high school gym roofs, both gym roofs are scheduled for replacement. And again, that's going to start on that's signed off for and will be done as soon as school is over. And again, projected date is June 9th that they'll start getting everything in place for that. And that's on this,
A little late, but what kind of roof are we putting on there?
60 mil
Same as what's on the
rubber,
Durham Knox building?
not
Middle school?
middle school.
Same as on the.
Yes.
Okay.
When did we put those out for bids or where was that? A
Last
while
year,
ago?
actually, while I was out, but it ran a little late for them to be able to do it
Oh, okay.
last summer. So it's actually on this year's capital project,
Okay.
and it was just approved then at the last board meeting
Gotcha.
and signed off for.
Okay.
Projected, we actually took that project knowing the timeline, they should be done by the end of June. So it's in this capital, but we did carry over $150,000 in the next year's capital projects in case anything runs over. Weather, you never know what could delay, but so we're doing both gyms here at the high school.
Gotcha.
Last board meeting, we approved the Springfield HVAC units to start the build process, which I explained that was about a 12-week process so that they'll be ready to go and replace this summer. One goes for the Palms HVAC control. They can now start ordering the materials and everything, and they have a contractor lined up to start that project.
This is not a pneumatic system.
No,
This is wireless or wire? It's wire, right?
Yeah.
So they gotta run wires all over the place?
Yeah, they're just the little cables.
They're gonna get that done over time? Hey.
Yep. It's just like it's almost like communication wire. Same as communication.
It is communication work.
But it's new, so you have to run it all.
It's, yeah.
That's a lot of
work. It's a piece of cake.
It was a lot of money.
Say that, okay.
We're paying them a lot of money. They'll run the wire.
That's up to contractors. They have a date, they schedule date, they have.
Okay,
So
get them to it.
get it through it. And that's also gonna hook, tie in with the new units for the auditorium. So they'll be on that system too. Durham Knox emergency generator, we signed a contract. Low bid on that was Hobbs and Company. So they'll be doing the replacement emergency generator and all the additional wiring needed for kind of bring us up to compliance so that we can operate Durham Knox in an emergency. We can, we'll have a water system. We'll have currently we don't have lights in the bathroom, emergency lights in the bathrooms. So bring it up to today's.
So good was Hobbs and Company, and they will begin when?
We're just settling everything. They can begin as soon as possible to do any of the site work. Obviously they're going to have to put a pad in for the generator because it's going to be outside now. So,
It's a unit with a fuel tank under it.
yes, it has a belly tank on the generator itself.
40 to 50 K.
Yeah, catching up there.
That's all right.
It's okay. Don't mind him. There's no-
Yeah, 40 to 50.
Yeah.
Fair statement.
All right, the high school emergency generator, the rewinding's okay. They're having problems finding, the actual, specs for the diode bridge, which are also burned out. Jim, I'd like to talk to you if you can, if I can afterwards for a minute. It was a Cato Light brand, which they made these, I think it was from 2000. I'm sorry, 1990 something to 2003.
Right.
And we got ours in 2002.
They got bought out.
They were bought out. But we're trying to find the actual specs that, like I said, they can do the winding. That's not a problem, but the diode bridge, I guess, is the problem because it's a three-phase, larger generator. And let's see, Springfield, 10,000 Flowers Project. They had the dedication yesterday. We
We were there
You were
yesterday.
there
It was really
yesterday?
great. Did everyone see the Channel 69 news story?
Very cool.
Okay, cool. I was showing it, but.
Yeah, very
It
cool.
was yesterday. It was on 69 news last night and probably this night too.
Pretty cool. So I think it's
Yeah,
going from
very
here to
nice.
Southampton.
Mhm.
Next
Mhm.
is Southampton.
Yeah,
It's cold over the first one.
very nice.
And the last one was in Illinois.
Something like that, yeah.
And this is a local company. That's what I found was
Yeah.
like Percy, I think was the artist. Was Percy.
Organization.
That's pretty cool.
Very
Put it
nice.
in the minutes too. Okay.
Okay.
You'll have to play the 69 news report on your superintendent's report.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. I can do that. I can do that.
Yeah.
Can happen.
All right, anything else, Al?
I have nothing else. Anything else?
Anything else from the committee? Done once, twice, three? Anything from our audience? All right, we're adjourned.
Okay.